A Spanish village that was abandoned by its families 30 years ago to make way for a reservoir has reappeared after the water levels plummeted, revealing the ghostly ruins of houses and a long-lost community. In a national tragedy, the village of Aceredo was flooded in 1992 when a Portuguese hydroelectric plant closed its floodgates, causing the River Lamia to flood the lands and buildings in the surrounding area. But in a rare occurrence, stunning pictures from the area on Monday show how low water levels in the Lindoso Reservoir have revealed the skeletal remains of what were once the homes, farmhouses and granaries owned and operated by the people of Aceredo before they were forced to give up their land. Many of the walls of the buildings have fallen away over time and the window frames left empty, but some of the structures remain surprisingly intact. A number of the village's 70 houses made from stone and wood are still partially standing, and while many have caved in or washed away, parts of their roofs have survived decades of submersion. The outlines of farmland marked by stone walls have also been uncovered, along with old roads and pathways that run through the small village that was once home to around 120 residents. While some of the lake bed remained submerged in water, the cracked ground that would otherwise be at the bottom of the reservoir was visible on Monday, with people seen searching through the wrecked buildings. On many of the buildings, watermarks can be seen on the walls showing the different water levels over time. Those that were painted have long been stripped of their color. Old vehicles and other personal belongings are strewn amongst the ruins, and while anything metal has rusted over time, other items, like glass bottles, remain hauntingly in place on tables and shelves. Logs and other lake debris also rest against the structures, while many piles of rubble show nothing but the remnants of buildings that once stood. The tragedy of Aceredo started when an agreement was struck in 1968 between the heads of state from Spain and Portugal, Francisco Franco and Antonio de Oliveira Salazar respectively, to use their shared border rivers to construct the Lindoso Dam. But the deal and subsequent engineering work came at a price: the expropriation of land and houses belonging to a number of villages and their inhabitants in the region. In order to remove the residents of the local villages, the Portuguese hydroelectric company EDP began to negotiate. But initially the majority of people living in Aceredo had no interest in leaving their homes. While some gave in to the amounts offered to them by the company, others held firm, refusing to cave to the intense pressure they said they came under. However, as soon as the company had convinced 51% of the people, a forced expropriation was published and there was no turning back, despite demonstrations, hunger strikes and confrontations with the police. In addition to Aceredo, 4 other villages, Obao, Buscalc, Ariloira and Lontemil, disappeared under the waters when the dam closed, forcing their residents to leave in 1992. Residents of other town higher up had more time to prepare for the flooding. In one case, The people of the village dismantled their church brick by brick to rebuild it elsewhere, and even had time to exhume their relatives. But others were not so lucky, with those in towns like Buskauk and Obau having to swim to safety with nothing but the clothes on their backs, unable to save their animals which drowned in the rising waters. It was later discovered that people were lucky to survive, as the EDP did not disconnect power cables, according to Spanish news website Cuentamil. The disaster turned a once beautiful valley full of life, with abundant fishing and farming land. Almost 3 decades later, A Cerrito stands out from the other villages, as it is the only one that is still visible on rare occasion when the water levels drop low enough. Many of the people who once inhabited the town live nearby, and can visit their old homes, but are often joined by tourists who want to witness the rare phenomenon. Those who do visit will see the ruined houses of a long-lost town, some personal belongings floating in the water and a fountain that still has flowing water. In the past, the EDP electricity company has blamed the drop in water levels on low rainfall, according to The Guardian.